All righty, welcome to the December 16th, 2025 Village of Buchanan meeting. This will be our last meeting of the year. I know everyone's upset, but we'll be back in January. In case of emergency, please use the door to your right or use the staircase behind the elevator. Never use an elevator in case of emergency. So please join me in the pledge.
Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, thank you, everyone. Okay, we're approving the following minutes: October 7th, October 28th workshop, and November 5th board meeting. Any comments on these minutes?
No comments, Mayor.
Okay. Can I make a motion to approve these meetings? I am making a motion. I'm sorry. I apologize. I can, and I did. Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. So comments from the floor, agenda items only. And also what I'd like to say to everyone, when you come up to speak, please give your name and your address, and please try to keep it within 3 minutes. Yes, sir, Mr. Eric.
Eric Van Cure, 255 Westchester Avenue, Buchanan, New York. Marcus, could you bring up Google Earth, please?
Okay with the board?
Yeah,
No, just a.
And
it's part of the discussion. I'm good.
yes, the Village Hall parking lot.
You want Google Earth or you want the village GIS mapping?
Google Earth.
You do. Before I zoom in out, could you share the screen so people at home can see this?
Oh, sorry, everyone. Just be patient for a few minutes.
Okay.
And go to the street view, please.
Yeah.
Now go over straight ahead. Turn to zoom in. We can see Mrs. Naylor's gate.
Here.
Yeah, you can zoom in, I believe.
I'm trying to go this way a little bit, see if I can zoom in. I can't get any more in there.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we can see the gate.
Yes.
Now, when I was at home, it said change date. I don't know where that is here.
April 23.
Yes. It used to be February 2013 it had also.
We'll have to go into the history of the map.
Worst comes to worst, I can send those screenshots to the board when I get home.
Yeah, I can't get into the street view to the older version.
Okay, well, the 2013 shows an older gate, an older fence that has no gate for Mrs. Naylor. So it shows that in 2013, she had no gate, showing that she had access to Village Hall without a gate. So she doesn't need an easement, as she's saying she does now.
But on that property, I'm just gonna ask a question, on that property, whether there's a gate there or not, she would still be walking
Over
onto that property. or
Correct.
over the
Right.
property.
That's correct.
But if someone could move there, put up a fence that has no gate and still be able to access Village Hall by driving around the block.
Okay, this is eventually gonna be a decision the board's gonna have to make.
Correct.
Right.
And we have two parties that are interested in using or obtaining that property. So,
May, I'm sorry, I got
Yeah,
some
sure.
updated information too that I can.
all right, do you want to share that now?
Yes, let's share it now. So as the board requested, we finally got the appraisal of the property as well. I haven't shared it with anybody else. I want to share it to the board first and the public. So the appraisal came out to $7,000 for the property. With the easement reduces the value of the property about $1,400. Give you an example. But so far, whereas I want to discuss with the board, if the village board is actually entertaining selling the property, I will highly recommend that we set up escrow to whoever you want to sell it to, because it's gonna, we got the survey. We need another survey of the village hall, because now we have to create a subdivision, because right now it's all one big parcel. We got the appraisal, we have to file deeds with the county, as everybody knows. And then also we need legal fees, so that'll be escrow. We have to do escrow as well, so. However, if this board decides to sell it, then I would highly recommend an escrow, some kind of deposit, just like any contract. And then we can start negotiating how we're gonna move forward to get total price, to get everything. And there's whoever we want to sell it to can get a lawyer as well, and we have that conversation. But if that's the village wants to sell it, now if they want to sell it with a easement, then the other party then also have to get a lawyer. We got to get meets and bounds, and that would be part of the deed for the selling of that property. So I just want to, it's a little more complicated than it should be. Right now, out of pocket for everything is about almost $11,000 so far for the expenses so far before any attorneys are involved. So just want to make sure everybody understands what the numbers are at this point.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So Eric, I know you're interested, and I'm also going to ask the outhouses. So you're interested in purchasing this property, but my understanding is that you don't want an easement involved. Is that
Right.
correct? Okay. The outhouses read, after he sits, I'll have you get up and explain your point of view too. Okay, so that's a decision the board's, going to, of course, have to make.
Understood.
Okay. And you have your mom with you here tonight?
Yes, she is.
Okay. All right.
Actually-
Hello?
I'm with her.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. We'll hear the other side next. Is there anything else that you wanted to say?
The board could consider a temporary easement until conveyance,
Sorry.
whatever the conveyance is. And the temporary easement would solve all the problems currently and put everything on hold.
What does that mean? I'm sorry, I need an explanation. I'm not sure I understand.
Temporary easement would mean that 255 would have the easement to be able to use the property, but it would also be exclusive rights, meaning that Mrs. Naylor would not be able to travel across parcel B for the time being.
But they could use the temporary easement.
Mrs. Naylor would not be able to.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand that.
Okay.
And Mark, is the legality of all this?
Yeah.
At this point, it's village property.
Yeah.
It's up to the village board to decide whatever they want to do. You don't have to, you
Well, a
know,
temporary easement.
yes.
Is that something that?
Right now, it
In
doesn't,
this
well,
situation?
it's interesting right now is, to make it clear, neither one has a right over that property.
Yeah.
But it's been happening for many, many years.
Mhm.
Now we're trying to make it a legal process in regards
Well,
to.
it's up to
making-
us whether or not we go with.
Exactly.
I mean.
Exactly right, yeah. And like I said, any option is available,
Mhm.
but as you can see, it might not make the other party happy at the same time, so it's a tough decision, but it's a board decision what they want to do with this.
Okay.
Righty, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Reed Outhouse, 241 Westchester. Here on behalf of my mother-in-law, Mrs. Naylor Ingenito. She's the property at 253 Westchester Avenue. So we're kind of new to this process. I kind of figured out that it looks like it's been going on for a little while. So we're coming into this a little late in the process, I guess. I've watched some of the meetings, and we saw the surveyors out, or my mother-in-law did. So obviously that raised some questions on her end. As far as she's concerned, what she would like to do, the gate access is really inconsequential. She really doesn't care about it. It's not a big deal. The gate, whether it goes or not, it doesn't matter. It sounds like it's more of a problem for the whole process than it needs to be. So the gate is, and that access for her using that gate, it was just to come over here to pay her taxes and go to seniors with my father-in-law. That's what it was for. Our bigger concern, though, is making sure, because I did get a copy of the survey. It looks like some of her fence and plantings, according to that survey, may be on what is village property, according to the survey. So if you're familiar with that piece, there's a chain link fence that she had installed. There's also some 10 to 12 foot high, maybe a little less. I can't remember the name of them, but they look like little, like evergreen trees for screening. Arborvitae, yeah. So there's those, and then behind that is maybe a 1 foot wall on her property. But I think that's on her property. So what we're seeking to do is to make sure that what's there now stays there if we can. She doesn't want the hardship of having to take up a fence and plantings and all that, of course. And the other thing is, it looks like by the survey line that when it gets towards the front of the house, it's very close to the house, like tight. So I think one of the other things that we would like to look into is a buffer zone off of the house in case she ever needs work done. We need to get ladders set up. You know, the utilities are on that side of the house. So that would be our interest. We have retained counsel. So counsel will be reaching out to Stephanie, and then we'll take it from there. But I just wanted to give you guys an update. We're just looking to have a buffer zone.
Mhm.
It could be half of that driveway. It could be, or that road, you know, that paper road, whatever it is. It could be half of that. It could be a little less. The whole thing. I don't. You know, we have to decide what's going to benefit her the most. But that's pretty much what we're looking for. You know, if the village, I guess the board has to decide what the path you're going to take. Are you selling it? Are you going to keep it? But no matter what you do, the gate is not a high priority for us.
So, but does she still want to have access to come into the back of the
Not
building
if
here?
it. I mean, if it's possible, but she doesn't. It's not so necessary to. You know, I think what she wants, and we kind of agreed with her, is a permanent solution, not easements and all this stuff. Just I own this, they own this, whatever. This is the way it is. That's the property line, done. That's the way it is for perpetuity. To me, that's easier for everybody, but I don't know the process. The only question,
Attorney isn't here this evening.
yeah, the only question I do have is, in the past, I do remember watching some village meetings where there were some places that homeowners came and they kind of divvied up that were village, you know, properties similar to this. And it seemed like it was a much easier process. Now, I don't know It just seemed like they had lot lines redrawn and
Yeah.
then people paid for
The
legal.
difference is we were hoping that this would be a paper
Yeah,
road.
that's
but
the difference,
It's
'cause it's a
not, yeah,
paper
because
street.
it's actually
It's
a
a piece-
piece of this property
Okay.
that's
All
continuous
right,
to
that
the
answers my
property.
question.
But it would have been much easier
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
with that, the paper road.
But anyway, yeah, so we have counsel. He'll reach out to Stephanie and we're gonna decide, work with everybody to come to a resolution that everybody's happy with, hopefully.
So you're no longer looking for a 5x5 easement to access, to come in the village backyard?
It's not a big concern, but then there's the question of, which I just looked at the map, so if you go over to that piece, there's a piece of the village fence, right? For the parking lot, the line that shoots across there. There's about a couple of foot piece of fence that sticks out into that property. Probably there was a gate at one time or something, I don't know. So one of the questions was, what if she purchased the property that far out all the way down? So there's a strip.
So a lot line adjustment.
Yeah, and that would encompass her plantings and her fence, and that would save her from that. But then the only other question would be,
The buffer.
if you walk out on that 3.5 feet or whatever it is, equal with that fence, you walk out of that gate, you're on her property, then you would walk and you would be on village property. Does that need an easement? I don't know. If it does, whatever. But again, that's not the biggest concern is the usage of that gate. Not a big, particularly big deal. She has in the past gotten some deliveries there because if you know that house, she takes a lot of pride in her yard. It's
She
one
does.
of the nicer ones in
Works
the
hard.
village. So the back of her yard, there's no way to get to it without going up steps or walls. So that's why in the past she has had like mulch or something delivered up here and brought in through the, and at her 84 years old, doing it herself with a wheelbarrow. But that's another story.
That's what keeps
We
her
can't keep her.
going.
Yeah, well, we can't stop her, but we
Keeps her
can't
young.
slow her down. But yeah, so that's it. So we'll, we want to engage in the process. And again, we're a little late because we just kind of got on board here. But that's where we're at.
All right, good.
All right,
Thank you
so-
for
Thank you so much.
giving
Yep.
your
For the
information.
Yep. So our guy will be reaching out to Stephanie and
Thanks. So, Mayor, since they brought up the easement, not that important. So the question in my work, so the lot is long all the way down to Westchester Avenue.
Right.
Talking to Eric, if the issue is from your house to the village lot, to the village parking lot, is what you need to park your car. And then from there down is really for access their property. We have a problem splitting that area. It's a possibility. You get your driveway and they get access to the side of the house. Or do you want the entire strip of land? That's the question.
Because I think, I think when Reed was speaking, I think they're looking more for a lot line adjustment, but we don't know how many feet. So this is a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
I'm willing to split it as long as I don't have to shovel. Like, if you look over.
Well, you gotta come to the
Yeah,
mic.
come up,
Oh,
Mrs.
speak on her behalf,
Sure.
whatever works for you guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Just don't want to show.
Basically, I think what she's saying is she'd be willing to split it as long as there's no easement that she doesn't end up having to shovel the snow. Because did you look out your office window
Yes.
today?
Yes, I see where you're parking.
So-
Yeah,
So can you explain to the board how she parks?
yeah.
So it's easier
She
for them?
parks closer to the village parking lot. That way she doesn't have to drive over plow of snow in front of the driveway to get out. But again, if it works for the outhouses and works for you, if you, like I say, if you get that piece of, no easement, I think that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Which is helpful for you guys. Now you have the access from the side of your house, let's say, to the village line, and then behind where you park your car will be the outhouses.
Because she doesn't pull back further. Even if we had two cars in the driveway,
Mhm.
it wouldn't go past their,
Side of the house.
the back door, I believe.
Would that work for you guys too? I'm just thinking maybe that'd be a compromise that might work for both of you guys.
Yeah, so you're talking about splitting it across rather
Correct.
than down.
Correct.
As long as the,
Come to the mic
yeah,
over
as
there.
long as the, side of the
her lot line
Yeah.
gives her.
So when we get together, and mark a little line and see if that works for both, everybody together, and we can get a report back to the board, and then we can, if that works for the
I
board.
mean, get the survey out
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Mark it up.
That's what we
Yeah.
kind of started doing, was just asking her, where she's comfortable.
Right.
And
No, I think it can be resolved. I
Yeah.
think everyone can work it out
Yeah.
and that's great. Okay.
So
And then Marcus will report back to us what
Absolutely.
you guys have figured out.
we'll get
And
together.
one very minor thing, there are some trees, bushes on like our side, which I would have no problem still maintaining,
Mhm.
but it would end up being on her part of the property.
So when we go,
So I'm just,
we'll walk the property together and mark it
Okay.
up and see how we can split the property, and I can report back to the board if it works for you guys.
can't walk the property right now, it's covered in
A
snow.
little bit snowy. Yeah.
I would, but that's fine, that's fine. We can walk if you like to. You're young enough, me, you can do it.
Well, no, my knee's not too good right now.
All right, you let me know when you want to do it, we'll do it
Okay.
together. Okay, thank you.
All right, good. I'm glad that I think we're going to be able to come to a resolution here. Should be great. Win-win. Okay, any other comments from the floor? Agenda items only? No? Okay. Next is a discussion with AAA. Mr. Cardellemi?
Good evening. Pat Carlemy, AAA Karting. Also Equity Enterprises. We own two parcels on Greentown Road, number 3, and I guess what's considered lot 1 on Greentown Road as well. So thank you for having us this evening. Back in the early 1990s, the Village of Buchanan approved the Buchanan Executive Park with the goal of creating an industrial area that would strengthen the village's tax base. Over the years, the village has approved several significant industrial uses, including Indian Point and the Old Tinselite, among others. As time has passed, however, the needs and the uses of the village and the surrounding communities have evolved. Tinselite went out of business and the property was successfully repurposed into a multi-use building. Indian Point, unfortunately, was shut down by the state. In response, the village has begun to reposition itself, including approval of 2 new housing developments. We are here tonight to ask for similar consideration and to begin a discussion about updating the approved uses within the Buchanan Executive Park. As you may know, New York State has established an ambitious recycling goal of 85% by the year 2050. The state is currently at approximately 15%. Just as Buchanan was once at the forefront with the approval of nuclear energy, we believe the village has the opportunity to once again be a leader, this time in advancing New York State's recycling efforts. Specifically, we're asking the village consider to allow a recycling center as a permitted use within the Buchanan Executive Park. We understand this would require a zoning text amendment, a full planning application, approvals from New York State DEC, and coordination with other agencies. Tonight, our goal is to simply explain why we believe this location and this use are a strong fit for the village. First, the Buchanan Executive Park has already established an industrial park with existing industrial uses. Second, the Executive Park includes a paper road that would only be triggered if a certain total of square foot of buildings were approved, something that is now impossible due to the existing lot configurations. We would propose constructing the road to route all traffic in and out of the Executive Park, directing it to John Walsh Boulevard to Route 9. Additionally, we would propose traffic controls at both entrances, such as triangular islands, to permit left or right turns for large commercial vehicles, while still allowing access for passenger vehicles and emergency services. This would significantly reduce truck traffic on Bleakley Avenue and instead direct it to John Walsh Boulevard and Broadway. Third, this use would not add hundreds of thousands of gallons of water to the sewer treatment system or burden the wastewater treatment plant as a residential development would. Fourth, it would not add any students to an already stressed school system. Fifth, it would generate new tax revenue that the village is not currently receiving. Finally, there are additional host community benefits associated with this type of facility, including potential payments per ton of material received. Depending on the size and approval of the facilities, this could amount to as much as $200,000 per year in addition to standard tax revenues. We recognize that as this process could potentially move forward, there would most likely be additional benefits as well as concerns that would have to be addressed. We believe that with good planning, thoughtful design, and input from both state and local municipal boards, as well as feedback from residents, we could collaboratively maximize the positives and reasonably address any challenges that arise. We understand that it's not a decision to be made tonight. Our hope is to begin an open and productive dialogue and to continue to discuss this in greater depth with more detailed information, data, and conceptual plans. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Pat, I think, I don't remember now. A lot of water under the bridge. I think something like this was discussed before, or was it a transfer state? I don't remember which, was it a
Yeah, so
recycling?
It was a combination of both. I want to say it was probably 12, 13 years ago. I don't think it really got anywhere off the ground. So that's why we're hoping to revisit it at this point and see if there's anything that we could start a dialogue and see if it's something that we could potentially move forward with.
So currently, the area you're in, I don't believe it's allowed within the code.
It is not.
And you said you would need a zoning text amendment, zoning changes needed. Something the board has to discuss, of course. But I do want to say thank you for one thing, because I noticed that your guys are taking the right, going up Lakely Avenue and going down John Walsh Boulevard. I appreciate that, that road takes a lot of wear and tear. So, diverting that out through the back, I thank you for having your guys do that.
No problem. I told them they get tickets. That's purely on them. I hope the cops sit out there and write them because I've told them plenty of times.
If you don't listen, you get the ticket.
100%.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in to present, and then, the board will have to discuss it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great night.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. George Palmer's here. George Palmer's in the house. Update on the structural engineering.
Before we do, if you, Mayor doesn't mind, Jim Thatcher, our grant writer, is
Oh,
on the
sure.
line as well.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe opportunity, if you don't mind doing that first.
Oh,
George?
sorry. Yep.
Good.
Well, just hang out, George.
Yeah, but George can
Sure.
start, George can start the discussion.
Thanks.
So, good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
trustees. We have a grant into Westchester County currently to do some sidewalk projects. The one along Westchester Avenue, the ones at the end of Bannon, the one at the end of Tate. And we don't know when we're going to receive that funding or when it's going to come in. So this grant, Jim's been looking out for the village and looking for opportunities to fund projects. And a TAP grant is a New York State DOT grant. This particular one, just became aware of it last week, and Jim put together this memo, which we received today, which was passed on to the board only a few hours ago. And this grant, TAP grant, Transportation Alternatives Program, pedestrian and bicycle safety improvements. It's part of the DOT program. It's administered by the DOT, and this particular grant is between $500 and $7 million. That's the projects that they're kind of looking for. When we looked at the county project, when we looked at Westchester Avenue, we were looking at like $700,000. And Marcus and Jim and myself were talking today. And sort of the ideal situation would be if the county funded the grant, the projects at the end of Bannon and Tate, and if this grant came through, maybe they would do the one at Westchester Ave. That would be like the ideal situation where the economics and everything work out. But so that's the intro to it. Jim provided a proposal. It's $5,200, and part of the application process is that we have to have a pre-application. January 13th, right? Correct. So in order to move forward with that, it's a substantial amount of money to spend $5,200. I looked at the proposal. Jim's done grants for us before. I wouldn't have it. I've looked at it. It looks standard. And he's going to basically take our work that we did for the county grant, rework that and get it in for the pre-application, and then the state will come back and they'll say, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. And that way they have a more complete application. And they'll also let you know, they'll say, well, you might not want to try this, or you may, continue. They may encourage you to go forward. So for $5,200, and I think there's funding available for that. So.
And let me add a couple of those points. The county grant, the way it worked is they'll pay 100% of the engineering cost, but then they take that cost, reduce it off the project cost, and then we got to pay 50%, 50-50 match. On this grant is 80-20. So the village's portion is a lot less as well. So that's another benefit if we get awarded this grant. And then a plus of that, we might be, if we do get the county grant, we might be able to match it with this federal grant and we actually reduce our match as well. So those financially, those are the options we have. But I got Jim here so he can explain what the process is and why, time is of the essence as well. Go ahead, Jim.
Hi, board. Thanks, Marcus. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I think George did a good summary, and I'm sorry this came up kind of in a rushed fashion. That's sort of how grants work, unfortunately. And March is the end submission date, so there is enough time, but they are requiring a pre-review or pre-application by mid-January, and then they'll provide feedback and go forward with a March submission date. The March date doesn't bother me. The January date's a little bit quick. But as George said, this is kind of 2 bites at the apple for you for Westchester Avenue. This program only comes around every couple of years, and it's basically funds for DOT to get people out of their vehicles. So that's why the alternatives in the name. It's not for roadway improvements. It's for pedestrian, bike, traffic signals, crosswalks, beacons, some speed bumps in some communities. It's for things to connect to trails and other facilities and get people out of cars as an alternative to congestion and using your vehicles for everything, including short trips around town. So it's really good money. A lot of people look out for it, but again, it's every couple years. It is a little bit duplicative with what we applied for from Westchester County, but the grant portion at 80% is more attractive. And because it's federal and Westchester County, we think is going to be bonded county local funds, there's certainly the potential that if you're awarded both grants, then this could work as your match, or vice versa. So you might be able to get the Westchester Avenue street project or sidewalk project done at 100% grant funded. I'm not going to guarantee that at this point because it's kind of up to Westchester County at their end, but there's not a prohibition at the federal end that I can see if you're awarded both. And I think as we talked to George and Marcus earlier today, Westchester County might award your program, your project a year from now. I mean, they had a pretty long time frame that they alluded to. This should be awarded late summer into fall 2026 at the latest, I hope. So you might know about this if you apply for this program first at 80% of that cost covered. And then the Westchester County grant you applied for a couple months ago would sort of be the gravy or the match if you get that later. So this is almost I won't say it's a better option because you already committed to the Westchester County Complete Streets application, but this is as good, if not a better option in a way, or at least a good baseline option. And this program won't come back next fall. This will be 2027 or 2028. It's just the cycle that it's on is a biannual kind of cycle at least. So it kind of gives you 2 bites at the apple, but it also plays off of the other one in a good way as well if you were lucky to get both. We kind of think too, I kind of think as your grant consultant that the Buchanan and the Albany Post Road, the smaller segments that we put in as a separate Westchester County application might be more attractive to the county if they're going to try to spread that money around. So this would be maybe your better play for $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 project, which again is a much more sizable cost for you to swallow at a more complex project to engineer, given the curve and the retaining wall and the slope and all the things that right now prevent people from really walking safely, or if they walk at all along that stretch of Westchester Avenue, so near the school. So that's kind of the nutshell. That's in front of you. And again, I apologize for the sort of late delay in getting it to Marcus, but he and I knew about it a couple weeks ago, but that's it, a couple weeks. It wasn't before your last meeting. It kind of just came up. And these funds being every other year, every third year, we kind of grab opportunities where we can try to find them and help you out if we can.
And you know what? I'm glad this came up because really right now with Westchester County, we have all our eggs in one basket, the county grant. So, and that doesn't guarantee we're going to get it. And when you do put in for the Westchester grant, Westchester Avenue, stress about the school, stress about there's no sidewalk in that area, and it's right next to the school. So, in other words, going to have to really try to sell that one.
I also believe you can stress the fact that both of them are bus routes for Westchester County.
Right.
And there is no sidewalk on Westchester Avenue, and it is a constant bus route.
Correct.
I think that's our last section left on Westchester that doesn't have a sidewalk, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so
And-
that would complete the sidewalks.
And they're connected to the pavilion and the pool and everything else.
Yeah.
Nice connection throughout Westchester.
Yeah, I mean, using the Westchester County bus system,
Mhm.
it is a good point, just to put, it's a safety issue.
Right.
Yeah.
The buses are going through there,
George,
especially on Westchester Avenue.
did you say, is this a state grant or is it county?
This is New York State federal, but administered through the DOT.
Okay. Do they indicate any preference with applicants, location or demographic or?
Jim, is there any preference for demographics or
No,
based on
I'm-
low
yeah,
income or
that's a
anything like
good-
that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not familiar with disadvantaged community stuff or environmental justice stuff that you see with some state programs. I think at the federal level, that's sort of being washed out of a lot of initiatives. This TAP program has had different names over the years, but it's been around a long time. If some of you remember ICE-T and other federal highway bills going back many years, these big highway bills where people wanted carve-outs for non-vehicle type enhancements. So this has a long history, but I don't know there's any special consideration for demographics or things like that. But we'll keep an eye out on that. We hit on those wherever we can.
And
If
do you
we're writing
utilize our
grants,
state
you guys.
representatives to kind of help when you submit that application?
We ask
Do you
for
need that
letters of support.
initiated by the board?
Yeah, we ask for letters of support for those as well, yes.
Yeah, I mean, DOT is going to award it at the state level, but it's federal funds. So it has, it sort of has, as long as we meet the federal criteria, you're good. And it's up to DOT. And DOT kind of thinks their own way sometimes. But they do, to go back to the mayor's point, they do like this program to solve gaps that have significant safety considerations. So some communities like to try to use this to replace existing sidewalks or, have crumbling sidewalks but this, where you have no sidewalks, but people should be walking or could walk if it were safer, you're really hitting the purpose as opposed to let's try to replace and upgrade things we already have. That's more of a maintenance issue. So this, where you don't have it and you have a significant engineering challenge with obstacles, curves, the retaining wall, the driveways, and getting to the school. Those are all good high points that make this
Sounds like it's a
decent
perfect fit.
for you.
Thank you, Jim, for finding
Yeah.
this for us.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jim, and thanks for the last minute joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you. You guys are a fun group, so
Thank
we'll
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
you too. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Do we have something else? for
Yep,
George?
the structure.
Do you want to, do they have to approve?
Yeah, do you want to approve the grant
Proposal.
application?
It's $5,200 to make the application. So in
So-
order for Jim to,
Get
Move
going on
on
it,
it.
yeah.
You
because
probably
it-
should
It'll be
vote on it.
late by the time we do the January 6th
Correct,
meeting. Okay,
correct.
thank you, George. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposal for $5,200 for Jim,
The CT Mayor Associates.
CT Mayor Associates, for grant funding
For the TAP grant.
for the TAP grant.
Mhm.
Can I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, sorry, George, I almost cut you off with structural engineering.
No problem.
Yeah, and let me, Mayor, we won't invoice that until March, the March final submission. So you're
Okay.
you're incurring
We're
it
not
now, but
putting
you're
it-
good for till mid-March. So that's sort of how I do my fees and things.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. Again, CT Maui, same company, reached out to their structural engineer, Chris Shaver, And he came out to the village. He looked at the pool house. He looked at the pavilion. There were some cracks in the pavilion while he's looking at cracks in the foundation of the pool house. We said, oh, you should look at the pavilion as well. He looked at both structures. He gave a detailed report, which he gave to the board. I don't know if you had a chance to go through it, but the work at the pool house
Be done internally.
could be done internally. I think Randy said he can handle it. There are the cracks, there's some settling, there's some water issues, but basically said to fill in the cracks and monitor it, and nothing more. And he had some work that should be done on the roof trusses. Roof trusses needed some work. So there were some plates. Chris was going to give Randy the size of the plates, how big they should be, and how to do that. He was going to give him some details on it. And then the other half of this is the pavilion. He went up there, he looked under the pavilion, didn't like the things that he saw with the roof. We had some repairs done back in 2022. The repairs were primarily to the steel structure. So Chris was fine with the steel structure. So we're glad we made those repairs back then, because it helped our preserve our structure. But the roof system, we know, was old. It's aging out. And the problem that we're having is that this particular roof, what holds down the roof is basically these screws. These screws have washers or rubber washers on them. Those rubber washers, they deteriorate over time. So, and when the 2022, they tried to unscrew the washers, the screws, and they started snapping off. So it couldn't even take them out, put new ones in. That was a big part of the problem. And these screws, they sit inside of the valley of the roofing system, so you can't really put one next to it and try to hold it down and put a new one, because you're still stuck with the old one. And I think one of the pictures here kind of shows 123. So if you looked at the picture 123, you can actually see where the screws are, and you can see the rust stains coming down onto the beams. So it comes down onto the beams, it sits inside this channel, the water just sits there, and it becomes a problem. It just starts to rust. And it's wearing away that channel, it's the lower part of the beam. And in talking to Chris, the structure's not going to fall down tomorrow. It's what happens when we get the 1978 snow on it, and we get 3 feet of snow, and what's going to happen then? That's more or less the issue. And so that was the concern that Chris and I spoke about. And he said, well, and the other part of this is the state also recognizes that there's a problem with the code, and they're changing the code this year, at the end of this year, to go from 30 pounds to 45 pounds per square foot, because snow isn't what it used to be. It's heavier. You have drifting, which means that as the wind blows, it could get higher in some sections and be even more. So the code's making these changes. So they're recognizing that there's these problems with that. The current code isn't sufficient. So Chris said, well, the best thing to do is, before we do anything, analyze the structure and see if you need to do anything to the steel frame, such as adding a bottom flange to it, to widen it, to stiffen it, to do something to it, and then designing the roof frame. And in designing the roof structure, so it's a gambrel roof, which means it's got 2 roofs to it. It's got the flat part on top and the slope parts on the side. You might have to make the part in the middle more steep to match the sides. So you're going to have like a framing system under for that flat section through the middle. So when you look under it right now, it's a nice barrel shape. It might be more pointed. So he's provided a proposal. It's I think $19,000 and change.
$19,800.
So it's over $1 million structure that you have there. So when you compare $1 million structure to $19,000, it's $19,800.
And just to explain to the board, that's to do the engineering of the load bearing and to do,
Right.
but not to actually create. The next step would be is actually engineer a new roof. What it to be the next step.
Right. So the first thing is you find out, okay, this new code is 45 pounds per foot. Snow load, analyze it, model it. So what he's got to do is he's got to take this structure, he's got to put it into the computer, he's got to model it. And it's not an easy thing to model because if you look at the structure, the beams are not a constant width. They go from very narrow at the bottom, then they get wide, and then they get narrow, and then they get wide. And there's reasons for that because there's moments and they put the steel where you need the most strength. So there's spots that you don't need more strength. So he's got to run this through his computer model and then analyze it for the new code and the new load.
Yeah,
So,
but George, wouldn't the new code be for new construction only?
in Chris's reading of that, he thinks that since this would be a new roof, the frame, no, but the roof, yes. So, and if the state is recognizing that there's a problem with loading, let's say you could
Well,
do
they'd be
that.
changing a ton of roofs.
They'd be changing
everything.
They'd be changing everything. They'd be changing a lot of things.
There's got to be some room to.
So
Yeah,
the first,
I think you're saying, we're replacing the roof, is to meet the new code versus us.
Right.
Well, I think that's
That's
our, up to our engineering.
Correct.
We want to go in that direction.
That's correct. Yeah.
right, so the first thing is to analyze the structure, make sure the structure is fine for a new code. And then maybe instead of a certain gauge, like a 12 gauge, you might go to an 8 gauge to something, it might be something that simple in the roof, in the sizing of the framing or whatnot. You know, it's a 50% increase in strength, but that doesn't really mean a 50% increase in cost. But we want to look at it. And if it's, a reasonable cost and it makes sense to do it since the codes are changing, let's find out what those costs are.
That's a big expense.
Yeah. So, steel prices and what's going
A lot
on.
of steel.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
But I think when you bring something up, when you do major repair over a certain percentage, then you have to bring up whatever to code. And then, I think the most important thing is here, it's for public use. So it
It
might
is.
get a little.
And it's aging, it's been there
It's in
for
the
over 50
70s,
years. Yeah,
70s.
it's over 50 years.
70s, 78, I think.
So
I had a guess, yeah.
it's given you a lot of life.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
One of the big
And-
assets.
And it's a vital part of the community. You use it for your
Everything.
St. Patrick's Day, you name it.
So the $19,000, that's just for the structural engineer to do
Analyze
the
it.
new load calculations.
Correct.
And then
that new code it takes effect.
January 1st.
January 1st.
We can't get it done before then?
And the other thing he mentioned was we had the original plans that will help that process and lower the cost, but we can't find the original plans.
Yeah.
in the Pavilion. That's
On the historical room?
we looked all over the
No.
place, couldn't find it anywhere.
We looked in our files too and
Yeah.
to find it, but it was from Con Ed or was the Power Authority at the time.
NIPA, yeah.
So,
I wonder,
Yeah.
do you think? They donated it to us. I guess it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Oh,
Yeah,
Somebody,
long shot.
I'll call
I'd
9.
find it hard to believe if they still have
well, it
it.
had to be prefab manufactured, prefab, and it had to be ordered prefab. So
Yeah.
somebody has the plans.
I'll try
All the steel was cut and brought here.
Mm-hmm.
and he said, if you find that company, just send them the new code and say, can you update the calcs and let us know? And then becomes easy.
Yep.
So, again, the question
Hmm.
becomes, would you approve the
1,800.
$19,800 so they can move forward with this analysis? That's the question.
I don't know if we have much of a choice.
Yeah, I think you
Right.
gotta get the ball rolling.
Correct.
And they're working with Jim
Mhm.
with grants. So, Jim's been finding grants, so hopefully,
Did you supply us with those pictures
Mhm.
that he has?
Yeah, the email.
And the
I know
email,
everything,
I have,
yeah.
I have to look at, I haven't even looked at, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
it's like 30 some odd pages. So there's a lot.
And it shows
There's a lot to go through.
shows the
Yeah,
cane of the rubber.
yeah. Well, it doesn't show the decaying of the rubber, but the one, I would look at one,
What, pa- what,
123, picture 123.
Well, over time, the rubber between the heat and
Yeah.
just
it-
over time,
it's brittle.
it would just.
Got a
yeah,
life. It
would
gets
get very
brittle. So you can see the rust coming through.
When I do bridge work, same thing. We jack the bridge up, put new pedestals in, and put the bridge back down. Same concept.
Same concept.
Mhm.
So
So before I make the motion, and this goes to, for the 19,800,
CT, same company, CT Mayor and Associates,
CT Mail
Mail,
and
yes.
Associates. For the engineering,
Structural evaluation of the pavilion,
evaluation of the pavilion,
correct.
structural evaluation, okay. Doing motions on the fly. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to expend $19,800 for CT Mail and Associates for the structural evaluation of the pavilion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
is that it?
Joe. Don't you go that easy, George? No, no, no. So I was going to talk about this later, but since you're here. So there's been an issue in the village with a sign that the town of Cortland put on St. Christopher's property. There's been a lot of complaints, a lot of people upset. So they're saying that it's in the DOT right away. What marks the DOT right away on Albany Post Road?
Usually it's, well, this particular issue came up before with the,
It's true.
with the Village Square.
Turnpike.
With the, yes, thank you.
Turnpike.
Yes.
So they did some historical research. They found it out to Turnpike. It's 70 some odd.
6 feet.
36 feet. What?
Okay.
Altogether, the turnpike would be 66.
Correct.
Okay.
Curb to curb.
No,
No.
that's outside the curb. That's
That is
beyond.
easement included.
That's right. That's the right of way.
So from the midline of the road,
33 feet either side.
either side.
Generally, because it doesn't, it's not perfectly in the middle all the
Right.
time.
So under those
33.5.
circumstances, I did get out there today to measure it from the midline. And to the center of the sign, it's 44 feet. So it extends beyond the right of way,
Onto whose property?
St. Christopher's Church.
Oh.
So some of it is still in the right of way, 33 feet of it, but then to the center point of the sign is 44 feet. So you're looking from the center point of the road, probably 50 feet. So some of it is on village property.
The whole sign is on St. Christopher property.
Yes, it is. I know. I know, but the town is saying that it's on the right of way. So what's unfolding here, I happened to see a supervisor on Saturday when I was at their Winter Wonderland. The church did give approval at first for it. And once the sign went up, they are not in favor of it anymore. It was what they said, it was not what they were told it was going to be. And not only that, it's blocking their sign that they use for advertisements. And when I spoke to the supervisor, Becker, I mentioned that a lot of people were upset. I mentioned that, I do understand that St. Christopher's did approve of it originally. Another letter went out asking for them to remove it. And I just told him I thought it was extremely disrespectful to the village of Buchanan, the board, and all the residents that we weren't notified ahead of time. So with that said, they are still not interested in moving the sign or putting in a smaller sign. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
So St. Christopher could file Article 78 proceeding against the town to have the sign removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Oh,
Oh, they did.
No,
They did.
they filed Article 78 proceeding or just?
Oh, no, it wasn't Article 78. They sent a letter
Okay.
requesting that to be.
As a suggestion, I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah.
if they refuse to move it, they can file Article 78 proceeding against the town, and you can do that yourself. It's one online form you can fill out, do it that way. It's a suggestion.
But I just, I was just, I told him the displeasure of just not, at least informing the board, at least, to let us know they were going to.
Separate issue, yeah.
So that was my question. I wanted to see, yes, it's partially on the right of way, but it also is partially on Village of Buchanan property, which is St. Christopher's property. And then when he really got upset is when I said, so normally you'd have to get a permit for the sign. That didn't go over too well. Anyhow.
Yeah, the
Oh.
village has a sign ordinance,
Right.
so they have to follow the sign ordinance.
So I don't want to make a big hullabaloo about this, but if the residents were concerned and upset about it, they're also talking about sight distance coming out of the church. Going left, it kind of hurts the sight distance.
Is there any way we could see some of these complaints?
They've been just telling me.
Because I haven't heard one complaint.
I'm
No?
kind of out and about all the time. I don't know if anybody else has heard anything.
No,
but
I think I don't leave the house enough, but I haven't heard one complaint.
I hate to read that. I don't even look at it. Nick, would you like to come up? Yeah, please. I know your hand's been up. Thank you.
What did you say?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Teresa, another suggestion, if it's affecting site businesses, he should contact the DOT as well. And DOT, between the DOT and the Article 78 proceeding, I'm just saying those are legal aspects they can take. If it does affect the DOT, can have a move up sign as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think it would have been nicer if they just came to us and then we could have voiced our concerns or opinions. That's all.
Yeah, if they need a contact person in DOT, I can give you a
Okay.
contact person. Oh, you,
There's a new person that's
yes.
on DOT.
Ann is the regional officer.
Oh, okay. All
And
right.
there really is,
She's the.
Oh, I know, Ann, well.
and
Okay, good.
so they can contact her too, so.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thanks. I'll be brief. Signs are usually part of a site plan approval. Property owners can't just give permission for things that are not allowed by code. That would be like saying I could let somebody put up a sign on my front lawn. Just because I say that, it doesn't mean it's okay. There are codes, and it's not up to the property owner to give permission for something that's not allowed by code. A church might be a gray area. I don't know, is that commercial? It's not residential? What is it? They're exempt from everything?
Mostly everything, but
Oh.
that'll be a good.
Wow, it's nice to be king. All right, well, anyway, then I don't know what to say about when it's on a church property, but normally you can't give permission to people to use your property for something that's not allowed by code. That would be like saying I could allow a truck to park on my front lawn or, so.
Right.
But I don't know, the church thing, I don't know.
Good question.
Marcus, you're gonna find out, right?
Yeah, good. Good.
But it's not their sign.
Thanks, Nick.
That's interesting.
Yeah, when they placed their sign, the church placed their sign, it was really set back far. It wasn't up where this one is. So, yeah, I don't know. That's one of those, yes, ma'am. Oh, okay.
On the NICOM, call Wade Beltrano and find out because he just did something on religion in schools.
That's my next phone call.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thanks for the info. Okay, so we'll see what information comes in from there. That'd be super.
Does anybody else on the board have a problem with the sign? I mean, we haven't even discussed it.
Oh, no. Well, okay, let's discuss it right now. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't know whether, I'm trying to sit here weighing whether it's really concern to the residents and whether we should take up a fight with the town or whomever placed the sign there. That's just kind of where I'm kind of weighing my
Okay.
thoughts.
Dan? We'll go right down the line.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Steve on it, Same thing.
Yeah, I don't really find much offense to the sign. I mean, I don't understand why it's on village property, let's say. I know that where the property line is impossible for them to put a sign.
Right.
I did the measurements as well. The whole sign is on the church property. It's not in the right of way at all. It's 16 feet off of the curb line. And it's 39 foot to the first post, which puts it completely in church property. So the church would have to give them the okay to put the sign up. Is it in village property? Yes, of course, we all know it's in village property. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's taking a fight up with the town over this, if it's worth it, but you know, it doesn't really bother me.
If the church has a concern with it,
Then they should take it up with the town.
they
Right.
told them yes to begin with, and whether or not they were right to do that, I
Mm.
still don't know that answer.
But what did they expect? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah. I
The church
don't know.
gave them permission. What was said to
What
the
were they-
church
Mhm.
that the sign would look like? Is it that the sign's bigger than they expected?
Right.
Is it the writing on it that's bothering them? Do you have anybody has an idea?
I think it's interfering with the sign that they have there now because it's so big. It almost like takes away from looking at the other sign. It was what I understand, not what was agreed upon.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm stuck on. I would like to know what was it that was said to them? And what is it that happened that they didn't like? Is that something you can find out, Marcus?
Well, again,
Technically,
it's up,
the church-
it's up to the
It's-
village,
But
it's
if we
up
have
to the
to make a
village board,
decision-
but it says on private property. I believe it's a church issue. At
I-
this point, it's on private property and the church should bring it up to the town. And if the town doesn't want to do, like I said, Article 78 proceeding, they can file a legal case. But if it's on my property, I don't want it, they should have the right to have it removed.
So then in essence, we shouldn't even be discussing this.
If there's an issue with it being over the village line,
Mhm.
that's a board discussion with the town. But if it's on private property, that's an issue with the private property owner. If somebody puts something on my property, I want to be calling the town to take care of it. I would tell them to get it off, or I'm going to cut the sign off and deliver it back to your house.
If they're permitted to put a sign there in the first
Begin
place.
with,
Correct.
yeah,
Right,
but-
like-
I think that's where you start.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think I'm offended because of the lack of communication in respect to the Village of Buchanan.
Yep.
That's-
right.
that's number
that's
one.
the point.
Right.
Yep,
They should have
that's
told.
Yep.
Number two, we ask everyone else to do a permit.
Yep.
And they felt that they didn't need to do that.
Mm.
I just think it's extremely disrespectful. I'm not, and I've told supervisor, I am not looking to get into a fist fight over this. But I do not, like the residents do not like the sign. I don't think it looks good there. And just for them, you know, what next? What next do they think is okay to do here in the village? And as I told them, I said, we are part of the town of Cortland. Yes, I understand that. But we're a separate organization here. We're a separate government. And just like if we wanted to put a sign in your area, we would approach you and ask you if it was okay or what is the process? So I'm just, you know what? We're here to defend the village. I see this one thing happening. What's next? That's my concern. So if you don't have the conversation or go after them and tell them this is wrong, I don't know. What's next?
So you said that there were residents coming to you complaining. Why don't they go to Supervisor?
That's what he asked. That's what he asked. I said, I don't know why they're not coming to you, but when I'm out and about at the post office here, there, people are like, what's going on with that sign? And I'm like, I know it is big. It is big. And they did have a sign, but not on the church lawn. The sign starts exactly where the fence is, going up the road for the high school.
Mhm.
They had a lot smaller sign there. So then I said to him, I said, okay, then you know what? If you want a big sign like that, why don't you put it on the high school lawn?
And on
Well-
Lake Street.
But then we'd have to get permission. I said, exactly, but you should ask us too. That's in the town, but you know, I said, I think you missed the Village of Buchanan. That's all I'm saying. I'm offended by that.
But I'm in agreement with Nick, though. If there was a permit that should have been pulled, then the permit should have been pulled. And therein lies the big question, because did they have the right to put it there? I don't know.
Well, that's.
Yeah, no, so that's what we have to
Well, you
figure
need
out.
to find out. So we
So
have-
So Nick brings up a good point.
That's the issue. The issue would be is if that would be a violation to either the church or the town. Or the sign is on the church property and they approved it in the first place. So the violation might have to go to the church to put a sign up without a permit.
I'm not looking to go like get down and dirty with this. I think it's a conversation that has to be had. I think it has to be established that if you want to do something here in the village, for example, the town, I think they need to open up communication with us and be respectful. just like we're respectful of them. So that's my main point to this. Can we move? Are we moving on to the next?
Yep.
George, I think you're done. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
George. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays, George.
Happy holidays.
Did you buy the kids all their gifts yet?
No.
Oh, you better get with it.
Have a good night.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, this is something we do every year regarding overriding the New York State property tax. So I'd like to make a motion to call for a public hearing on January 6th, 2026 regarding overriding the New York State property tax. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The registrar and the deputy registrar of vital statistics, Cindy and Sharon. Okay. I'd like to make a motion appointing registrar as Cindy Kempter and deputy registrar as Sharon Murphy of vital statistics. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And now the next, we have some new members of the Buchanan Engine Company. So when I make the motion, I'm sorry, I do not have the names in front of me. Cindy, would you happen to have them? Okay. That's good to see that there's some new members coming in. That's great. Use all the volunteers we can get, right?
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, do you have it, Steve?
I don't, that's fine. I think those are the names right there.
Oh, wow, okay. I'm sorry, I'm thinking everybody's
right?
neighbors.
Two.
Abraham Miller. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve two new members of Buchanan Engine. One is Abraham Miller. Okay. And the other is Isabella Daria Dougherty. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Okay, Justice Court reports. That's me. Okay, those reports for October 2025 have been received and filed. Police reports.
Yeah.
I will do, right? Yeah.
Yes. The police department had 165 calls. They were mainly calls for service, medical aid, and relayed information.
Okay, thank you. Highway report.
This report is for October. I know it's December, but we missed a meeting. This is 110 tons of garbage was collected. They were busy in October, you know, with leaves. They fixed the sign down Lens Cove after it was damaged. And they did a bunch of maintenance on their equipment, getting ready for the winter. And there's a lot here. There's a lot of pictures and you can go through it. They were very busy, and they did a lot of good work.
Okay, thank you. Wastewater, treated waste, 7,702,000, sludge removal, 104. Okay, new sludge transfer pumps installed at plant, assisted by highway manpower. And a check valve on Albany Post Road pump station was removed and replaced. Assisted in-house with in-house highway manpower, saving approximately $5,000 instead of contracting out for repair.
Yeah.
So this is great. These guys are working hard and they're working together. So good to see it.
Teresa, if I may, I just gotta give a plug to Tony. He's been doing a lot of work internally for the sewer treatment plant. We had the issue in Valley Court, and Tony rebuilt all the plumbing down in Valley Court himself too. So Tony's doing a lot of work for the village.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so that's to let you know, they're working a lot closer together to do a lot of projects themselves.
But you know, it's good. He's working with other people, teaching
Yes.
them also.
Yeah,
So no, this is good. We got a good group. We're very happy with them. All right, thank you. Building department.
That would be me. Orders to remedy, 2. Court appearances, 1. There was 1 stop work order. Building permits issued and reviewed were 18. Inspection required for newly issued permits, 11. Inspection on file for permits and compliance inspections, 17. certificates of occupancy issued 10, compliance inspections for resale or refinance 6. Some of the additional items were, there was a court appearance for the 300 Blakely Avenue property. Apparently, the inspection of the property was not performed to cooperate with the Village Buchanan Court and Building Department, so Judge Daly requested property inspection and owner remove the illegal tenants, and eviction process ordered to be started with the new attorney, and it was adjourned until a December date, which this was from October, so
It was adjourned again.
it was adjourned again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
And-
frustrating,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very frustrating.
Got to get resolved.
And then the AMS construction, just an update on that. The building interior construction is moving along. Sheet rock primarily completed on the main floor areas, and first floor apartments are being assembled. There were 6 compliance inspections and awaiting a reinspection for a new C of O issuance. That's pretty much it. So Peter sounds like he's busy.
Thank you, Dan. Buchanan Engine?
Okay, for the month of October, there were 10 total alarms. 2 of those were EMS lift assists, 4 of those were mutual aid given. Fire department also participated in the fire prevention week at BV School, as well as the village Halloween gathering at the pavilion. And they did their usual Halloween standby.
Thank you. Planning board minutes received and filed for October 23rd. Any prosecutors report?
No, the only update I think I sent to the board, 300 Blakely Avenue, the frustration of the prosecutor going through the process, thinking things are moving forward, and then it gets adjourned again and adjourned again and adjourned again. So we still have to see if something happens in January. There are definitely there are at least two illegal apartments plus a business in that building, 300 Blakely.
So they have 2 apartments?
4.
Oh,
Yes.
and there was an apartment upstairs years ago and the bar downstairs.
Yeah, there's it's a one-family structure. Yeah, so we've been dealing with that. It's been very frustrating for her and for Peter standing in court to 8 or 9 o'clock at night and just being adjourned. So we'll see what happens in January.
All right. There's a lot of events going on this time of the year. I attended the Pearl Harbor Remembrance that was sponsored by the Village of Croton. That was on December 7th last week. This weekend, Wreaths Across America. It's really, if you ever get a chance to see that, it's really great to see. There's so many volunteers. They're putting out wreaths, and they never have enough wreaths. So each year they try to collect more and more, but they put out wreaths on, all the veterans' graves. And what's good about that is some of the veterans, they're older graves and their families still aren't alive. So, at least they're being recognized. And it's a good group. They go to the Assumption, and there's a couple other churches they go to, but they're out there in the cold putting out the wreaths. Today we had the seniors' holiday party. Wilda was there. Wilda was there. I was there. Wilda was there. I was there too. I was just thinking who was there, but anyhow, it's a fun group. It's a good time. Our Buchanan seniors are very active. We had Sharon Murphy there. We had Cindy Kempter there, and we had Marcus Serrano there. So a good time was had by all. The Christmas tree lighting, the whole board was there. It was a very good event. The high school trebles was there, the band, the high school cross-county team. I think it was, from my memory, the biggest crowd I've ever seen out there. And so I'd like to thank Jacqueline Pasquale, who is our rec supervisor. She did a great job. The highway department, the police department, Buchanan Engine, and the county sheriff's department, and the beautification committee for doing the hot chocolate. It was a really nice community event. We all got together and we enjoyed lighting the tree. Let's see what else. I was at the Town of Cortland Winter Wonderland. They do a beautiful job. That was this Saturday. Kenny Sherman is the rec supervisor there, who is also a Buchanan resident. And it was great to see the people using the ice skating rink, the kids out there, even though it was bitter cold, but that doesn't bother the kids. They were out there playing on the bouncy castles and everything. So very nice event. Oh, and there were carolers too. And that's something a few of the residents and I have been talking about around Christmas time is to organize carolers to walk through the village. So we'll see. We'll see whenever that materializes. Our first snowstorm was this weekend. The original forecast was an inch or so. That changed. We ended up getting more. I know some people were upset that there was no code red given. I needed to do that on Friday afternoon. I didn't do it. I take full responsibility that there was no code red for the snowstorm. But I do want everyone to know we've been doing this for a few years now. When it snows, whether it's 1 inch, 10 inch, 50 inches, I hope not, please get your cars off the road. If it's going to start at 2 a.m, please have your cars off the road so that our highway department can come through, go curb to curb. When the cars are off the road, they do a phenomenal job. They clean up quickly. So just note to self going forward, please take the cars off the road if it's going to snow. What else is going on? I think that's it. I think that's all I have. Well, Wilda, what do you have for us?
Just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hey, thank you. Anthony, what do you have?
I would like to also thank Jacqueline Pasquale for doing the tree lighting. She did a great job. It is a lot of work. And everybody that was involved, like with Teresa announced that, with the firemen, the cops, everybody that was involved, did a great job. The beautification committee as well did a great job with the decorating of the circle. It was a great event. There was a bunch of kids there that were really excited to see Santa, and it's nice to see the community come together like that.
It's good.
The other thing is, so there was some trolls on social media this weekend about the robocall that wasn't made, and we just, the forecast is never right, so we don't know what's going on. It'd be helpful if the trolls would stay off social media and make it difficult for community members and stop being so divisive. I know people on here probably don't go on social media, but they actually singled out one of our board members this weekend, which was disrespectful and a disgrace. In Verplank, there is a food pantry. It's cold. It's the holiday season. If you can give to the food pantry, good friends of mine run it. It's a nice place to donate for the holidays, and it's good for, they do a lot of good with the food down there. Clothes, furniture, re-gift some stuff if you have to. They do a lot of good stuff down there. And that's pretty much it. Just, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys next year.
And Nancy, thank you for mentioning the food pantry. A lot of the veterans used to go down to the VA, and I don't know whatever happened. That used to be a well-oiled machine down there, but I know a lot of the veterans are going to the food pantry in Verplank, and they're very appreciative of it. So thank you. Dan, what do you have for us?
Just to, happy holiday season, everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Please just have a safe and happy holiday. Enjoy your friends and family. Just to hit on the Wreaths Across America. I'm a member of the AOH. We have a group that goes up to Assumption and is part of that.
Good.
And it's a rewarding experience. They're always looking for people to help out. So they do get different organizations involved if anybody's looking to, to take part in that. I was also asked by a friend of mine to extend an invitation to the village board. Apparently HQ Racing, which is the new indoor go-kart facility over at Charles Point, is nearing completion and getting ready to open. And they would like to extend an invitation on Monday, December the 22nd at 2 p.m. for any of the board members that would like to partake in a walkthrough and even a chance to maybe take a spin in one of these new go-karts. So if anybody's interested from the board, let me know and I'll communicate back to the gentleman that reached out to me.
We can go for a ride in the go-karts, why not?
Yeah.
Be there. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Let's go.
It's supposed to be a pretty impressive facility. It's supposed to be the largest one in the United States. So I wish them all the best. So that's all I have.
Again. Steve, what do you have for us?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to close the loop on the last meeting that we had. I know that there were some concerns and discussions regarding my involvement, Trustee Stewart's involvement in the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We did ask our attorney, Stephanie, for her legal interpretation. Unfortunately, she's not here today. She has provided the board with a memo. It does dictate on there that there is no conflict with both myself and Trustee Stewart serving in those roles. We, of course, extend the invitation. If anybody else would like to take on that role, they're more than willing, we're more than willing to give that up. But there was no concern.
That's a good segue into looking for more volunteers.
Absolutely.
This is good. So, once again, Steve, anyone interested
They're more than willing to reach out to me or Trustee Stewart. And
for the St. Patrick's Day Parade?
And it's coming up quick.
There you
So
go. See
Yeah.
that? Okay. Good advertisement. Marcus, what do you have for us?
Just two quick things. The planning board meeting is this Thursday. Just so the public know, Gallon Measure is on the agenda. They're going to have an update on the site plan, the renderings, the colors. Nick and Eileen are both here, so they know about it. But anybody's interested, please watch. Of course, you can always watch on Zoom as well. But we encourage anybody who has any comments to please come to the meeting. Also want to let you know, there's been a dead tree on the village property on Blakely Avenue hanging over the wires. The Canada Center has agreed to take the tree down. They'll be coming down tomorrow to take the tree down. So I just want to let everybody know, and there'll be no interruptions on Route 9 or anything like that. They'll be taking everything down. They'll be cutting the tree, leaving some stumps there, and they'll be taking the stumps out. But it's a pretty big tree. They're removing the stumps in the future. So that's a nice safety concern for that, would have taken out all the wires. But that's going to happen. Even though it's on village property, they're going to do it at no cost, but it's hanging over the wires. It would have been a very expensive tree to take down. So I want to thank Con Edison.
Yeah, no, that was good. But driving out of the village, you could see that tree's been dead for a while. But the concern was that could have come down on the telephone connecting there and the wires and.
come down on a car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Of course.
My gosh, no, that's great news. That's
So
good to get rid of that.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
And Marcus, just real quick, has there been any more feedback or any news regarding any applications? I know we discussed the Lens Cove property. New property.
Yes. On the Lens Cove property, no. On the Lens Cove property, no. But there's been interest on the Blakely Avenue property. He just sent. What he would like to do is the board to consider. Stephanie's not here tonight. Stephanie was going to review it, but they want to do a contract to hold the property for like 60 days. They want to provide a deposit. They want to make a refundable deposit. So that way they do their due diligence and hold the property for 60 days.
We were considering notifying the other.
Yes,
potential-
that was done already. I
That was
really
already
let
done.
them know, and they said we're nowhere near to coming back to the village with an application at this point. So whatever you guys have to do with that property, you got another offer, go ahead and take it. The offer's still at $400,000 from the new individual, but he wants to look at the zoning, setbacks, look at everything before he actually commits to anything.
Sure.
So he might. So for the next meeting, you might have a proposed agreement to allow him to do his due diligence for 60 days, and he'll give you like $10,000, but it's refundable deposit. If he can't move forward, he gets the money back. If it moves forward, it comes off the $400,000. That's the brief explanation of what he's going to present, but Stephanie's talking to their attorney to finalize that language and get it back to him for the January meeting.
I'd like to also have him come in with a proposal, we've done with the other developers, they've done sketches and what their thoughts are of what they'd like to do.
That's exactly what he wants to do after the due diligence period, because what's happening now, he doesn't know what he can build there.
Okay.
And he doesn't know, he's looking at the steep slopes, also how many units per acre. So he wants to be able to provide you with something at the next step. He just want to do his due diligence for 60 days, figure everything out, and then come back to you, not only with a rendering, But if it needs any change of zoning,
What I was saying,
yeah.
rendering, I'm
yeah,
sorry. Yeah,
that will happen after, because right now, he doesn't have the engineering done, of the project yet. But probably happen probably February or March.
Does he know how many units or?
No.
No concept yet?
No, but he has a good engineering company and he has a good
He's got to
architect.
engineer the whole property.
Yeah,
This is the property that the village owns, 9A and Blakely Avenue. We have another developer that's interested in putting some housing there. The last developer was 10 units? 9 units of like townhouses. So now we have another developer with another proposal.
Right.
Comments from the floor? Yes, sir. Please come up and state your name.
How are you? Ronnie DeCrenza, 195 Rockledge Avenue. Thank you for having me. This really isn't my game, but so I've had a 20 by 20 gravel pad in front of my house since 2017. I have a 2-family house. There was insufficient parking. It's gravel, it's porous, and it was approved by the previous building inspector and the highway department. I'm the honest handyman. I don't play games. I ask respect, and I don't do anything half-ass. So I have like 10 permits on my house. Why would I mess around with this? So Peter's been really, hammering me with this. So I couldn't figure out any ways around it. I had lawyers and everything else. Then finally, Brian Cook said, look, if you have a letter from the previous building inspector or the previous highway department stating they gave me permission to put this there, it's not a problem. Then another time, he said, well, we're not going to give you a permit because there's no gravel allowed in front of your house. Then he said, your setback was wrong. I feel like I'm getting attacked here. Instead of being a community, I've been here 34 years. I'm a licensed contractor in Putnam and Westchester for over 20 years, no blemishes. Why would I play games with a little 20 by 20 pad of gravel? So this all started because I wanted to change the color of my gravel. So whatever, I put in for a permit. They denied me. They said, go get a zoning permit, this and that. And you know what? Why should I get all that for something I already had? Okay. I just happened to come across the name and address of the previous building inspector, Anthony Conti. Whether you like him or you don't, I've been here 34 years. So there's been 5 building inspectors since I've been here. I have a letter here, if I can read it. I don't read that well, but here we go. Anthony Conti. In 2017, I received a request from Ronald DeCrenza at 195 Rockledge Avenue regarding the procedure was adding a 20 by 20 gravel parking space. The spot was located on the west and Rockledge Avenue property line. As the actual building inspector at that time, I conducted an inspection at the property to determine what would be required and what would help Mr. DeCrenza. Would need to make his plans come to fruition. Because the proposed parking area was gravel and did not contribute to impervious surface area, lot coverage, and met the setback requirements for the project, I determined that no building permit was required. I then advised Mr. DeCrenza that the decision was his to proceed or not to proceed, and that no permit was required. If you have any further questions, please funnel them through Mr. DeCrenza. Where do I go from this? Is everybody satisfied with that? Or do I have to run circles around Mr. Cook? So on one hand, Brian Cook said, put this in the file, and he's happy. He wants to cover his butt, Mr. Cook said.
So let me answer your question, because not to say anything to the village
When
board.
was that letter written?
Well, the issue comes down is this. If you have a disagreement with the building inspector,
This is not about a disagreement anymore.
okay,
I'm just telling you
difference of opinion.
no, I'm just telling you the history,
Okay.
like a little story, how I got to this point.
What I'm trying to say, if you want.
I'm not here trying to fight anybody.
No, I'm not saying that. If you want relief from what the building inspector is telling you, this is not the venue for that. That will be the zoning board. If you.
No, listen. I'm here proposing, I'm just showing you this letter
Right.
that was given to me and emailed to Mr. Cook. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm here showing you what I got. I have a certified letter from the previous building inspector that was under your administration, or you weren't here at that time, maybe. I have it certified. I had it, affidavit and all that. Like I said, this is not what I do. But anyway, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm stating what is proper. I had permission at 2017. So the only reason I was here is because I wanted to change the color of the gravel. Who calls the building inspector and says, look, sir, just to let you know, I'm going to be changing the color of my gravel. I don't want anybody to think I'm doing anything underhanded. And then I get hit with all this. Whatever, it's done. Just letting you know, I have this letter.
Right.
You either accept it or you don't, and we can move forward whatever way you want. I'm a very easygoing guy.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, the process. The process would be is if the building department is not accepting that letter.
No. So now, I don't know if they accepted it.
Okay.
Because Brian Cook, not Peter, I don't talk to Peter. Brian Cook said if I get a letter from the previous administration, he would accept it. Because then he has something to put in my file and he's not held accountable. So unfortunately, I didn't have a microphone or recorder when he said that.
Okay.
But doesn't it make sense?
I'm saying this is not the right venue for
All
that
right, well,
discussion.
I'm not going to the zoning board because I had a problem with one of your members.
But
Okay?
that's the venue. The village board cannot override a building
I'm just
department.
giving you respect here.
No, I'm giving.
I'm not asking for an override or nothing.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I'm not moving any farther with this. They either accept it or they don't.
Okay.
I'm a very respectable person. You go by my house is nice. All right? I have no violations. All right? I changed tile in my bathroom. I come and get a permit.
No, I understand. Yeah. I agree.
So why would I mess around? Okay? And, just common sense. You work with permits, right? Gravel is porous. So if you come by my house, I have a 2-family house with 5 bedrooms. Let's see, is there enough parking? We needed a little parking since 2017. Okay, Anthony said, it's not a problem. It's not illegal. There was no code saying I couldn't have it. I'm just giving you the respect that I had this done. It took me a year and a half to find the building inspector. I happened to run across somebody that knew where he lived. I went up and I bothered him like I'm bothering you. I'm not that type of person. I have my own ailments. I don't have time for all this. I'm giving you the respect that I went through all this hard work. It was emailed on Saturday to Mr. Cook. So if Mr. Cook says he didn't receive it, that's his problem. And then what I learned about emails is he has to copy it because anything's a copy or something like that, whatever. So it's up to him to copy it and put it into my folder. Because if I give this to him, that's a copy, they said. But either way, I'm here giving you respect. And I really don't know how to move forward with it. I just want to change the color of my gravel. It's very simple. I had all these plans done and everything. For what? For what? It's legal. It's been there. It was approved. I never disrespected anybody in this town. And not for nothing, real quick, I've never felt more belittled and disrespected than any other town than this one. I worked in all towns of Westchester and Putnam. Got nothing but respect. How can we help you? Oh, you got a little problems with the blueprints here? Let's change this. Here is a problem. Why? To make my house nice? Let's concentrate on absentee landlords or something like that. I'm doing the right thing. My grass is nice. My house is nice. I'm a contractor. I don't keep my contractor stuff at my house. I know we had it, sometimes I don't say the right thing. It's not my job. I'm not a preacher. I'm a worker. But I'm just giving you the respect that I always have. And I hope I get it back in return. So, unfortunately, when I asked Mr. Cook, well, what do you want me to do about this? Well, look up the code. Your job is to tell me what the code is. I have a copy in here, emailing from my architect to Teresa. I had to bother the mayor. They asked her how to find the code on, is there gravel allowed in the front yard? Wait a minute. Isn't Mr. Cook, is it that hard for him to say, look, Ron, if this is really a code, this is the number. Okay? But I can't get myself sick anymore. I'm a nice person. I really am. My mother told me, you got nothing nice to say, don't say it. So,
Ronnie, can we get a copy of that? If you could,
yeah, I made
a copy.
don't mind my spelling, because
That's a-
I did the best I
Listen,
could.
you said you were bothering us, and that is not the case. When people come in front of no, you shouldldn't be.
And I'm
We'll get
sorry.
copies for everybody. No, you're a village resident and you have an issue and, you want to talk about it. That's, everybody can come here.
I know, and you know what? Everybody always wants to be vindictive, or I want to get this and make them feel hurt back. I don't want that. I don't know how much life I got left, and I can't get sick anymore. Over some gravel? All I did was the right thing. I came to the town and said, I want to change the color of my gravel. And then, not for nothing, they called my architect and said he doesn't have the proper setback. Really? They called my architect, not me. I said, come on out. Brian Cook came out. We measured off of the center line. Guess what? I have the proper setback. What nerve do you have to call my architect without even coming and doing your own due diligence? So I feel like I'm getting attacked here. You know what I mean? You ever notice, like, when you do things right in the world, you get sick, your mom dies, something bad happens. The people that are stealing and hurting and killing people, they go to heaven. What, are you kidding me? What's wrong with this?
We'll find out. We'll find out in the end if they end up there.
So
I
I don't know if the building inspector got whatever was sent, but Marcus can, follow.
I thought if you do an email, he has to get it, right? I don't know. I don't do
The
email.
email address.
But either way, now you have it.
All right.
And some people say, do this and then ask forgiveness later. That's not me.
Right,
Ask for permission
right.
and see if you're in the rights. And I was in the rights in 2017. And I don't like people saying I'm a liar and saying, oh, well, you did this without me and I hurt. No, everything I do is legal. Please don't hold the fence. I'm not a bad person.
Yep, I know.
And I'm not asking for forgiveness or permission, anything. It would be nice if that's put in my record. And now I have 11 permits on my property. I want to sell soon. I don't want a problem. Plus, I have tenants. Where are they going to park? In the street? Can't.
Right.
I'm just asking for what's right. That's all. I'm a very easygoing guy. Why does everything have to be so hard in this town? 34 years I've been here. Never heard of it. Never hurt anybody. May hurt myself a couple times, but I'm very respectable and all my stuff is neat. And I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you.
Yep,
And
thanks for coming.
I know I don't read well, but I did the best I
You
could.
did fine.
It's all right.
You've done good.
Thank you.
You've done good.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a
Merry
nice
Christmas.
Have a nice holiday.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak? No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eileen?
Do you have anything for exec session?
No.
Okay, all right.
I want to go back to this sign on the
Oh,
church. I am not happy with this. I am not happy that the town of Cortland thought they could do this. I would like to know at the next meeting what Wade Beltrano said about this. Okay? Because I think that you need to have New York State Council be able to tell you if they are allowed to do this. And what happens when they say they don't want it there and the town doesn't take it away? It is the village, and I would like to see a little backbone by the board and whoever else is residing here to make a statement about this. This is not the town of Cortland. This is the village of Buchanan. And if you don't stick up for it, I do believe there is this little inching going on. You see it nationally, you see it state, you see it all over. So I think you need to really stand up and say, this was not allowed. You didn't get a permit. You didn't, the sign is too big, whatever the case might be. But you do have to stand up for your rights. And if we don't start doing it now, there's a lot of people that don't care what we do here, how we live here. They will just as well take us over and incorporate us into the town. Look at all the land the town has, aside from the high school. Why not go to the high school and ask them? Perfect lawn. It would be like me putting a sign saying, oh, put the town of Cortland sign on my front lawn. I don't have that right. And even if I did, it still needs a permit.
Right.
So, I'm just saying, I'm perturbed at the town of Cortland for doing that. And I'm a little annoyed and disappointed at the church.
Eileen, I just want to say it again, in case the church is listening. If they don't want that sign, they can file Article 78 proceeding tomorrow and force the town to remove that sign immediately.
Yeah.
So, I'll do my research for the village board, but if they want to get that sign removed, file Article 78 proceeding right away.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
Yeah, and I'll speak for myself. I'm not backing down to anything. I just want more information. And Marcus.
I don't know how much more information you
Well,
need to
let me
see
explain it to
that
you.
sign, and it's only on one side.
So I'll explain it to you. I
And
said
it's-
before, I wanted to know what the agreement was between the church and the town. I would like to know why they initially authorized it and then decided they didn't want it. Once I know what the church wanted and if what they wanted was disrespected, then I can make a better decision. I'm not in favor of a sign that's causing issues, but I need to have the facts in front of me.
Would you do the same thing if I put a sign up there for the town of
I would
Cortland?
do it for
Would you
whomever
ask
needed
me
to do
what
it.
I was thinking?
Eileen, this is not about you. But let me finish. This is about a sign that, according to the mayor, is causing an issue with the residents. I don't have a problem addressing that, and I've already shared my views. So I don't know more than that. I'm waiting for the information, and that can't happen till tomorrow, so the Marcus can get back to the board. Once I have that information, then we'll take it from there. It's really simple to me. And
Not
yes,
that
the
simple to me.
mayor, well, you can make it complicated, but it's not.
That's all.
The mayor has spoken to Supervisor Becker. He has disagreed. I'm not saying that the board, I'll speak for myself. I am not saying that I wouldn't take further action, but again, I want more information.
And just want to add one aspect of it. If it was somebody put a sign on your house, for example, the violation will go against you, for example. Before I issue a violation to the church, but it's on church property, maybe the church will tell the town to remove it by Article 78 proceeding, to remove any complications. Because you're going to violate the town, but it's not on town property. It's on village property, on private property. So as you know, the violation will go against the property owner. And I want to issue a violation against the church when the church doesn't want the sign in the first place either.
Right.
So
But the church wanted the sign in the first place.
then they'll be getting a violation for having a sign without a permit.
Well, and I could be mistaken, but I'm quite sure that the church probably has a board that has to approve what went on here too. So there's a few more pieces, Eileen, I think.
Well, Danny, I'm not saying there aren't
answers
more
for.
pieces to this puzzle.
No.
I'm just saying that if you let this go and you don't stay on it,
Eileen,
they're just waiting for that wounded bird to just kind of fall over and not be really rehabilitated.
But we're not going to let it go.
Eileen,
I think that was clear.
we are going to do our due diligence to look into it.
All right.
The point in the matter is you have to have the information. You have to have.
When I heard you say, well, I'm this and that, Steve, I'm this and that, Anthony,
We still this and that. You're not going to change the way I think about it.
no, I'm not looking to change anybody's
I
opinion.
want Marcus to find out if it's legal for them to put the sign up.
Mhm.
and then we'll take it from there.
And what the
Right.
agreement.
If I have no
Just-
backbone,
Ed,
I'll show you my backbone after he gives me the reason why it's legal or not.
Okay, I want to see some backbone, that's all.
But when
Oh,
he
that's
gives me the
expensive.
legality of it, then I'll have some backbone.
Okay.
And I think I understand what you're saying too, Eileen. I think it's the way it was done. I think
Yeah.
the process and them not being
Transparent.
straightforward and transparent with.
The other thing is that
That's.
that is the beginning of the Village of Buchanan.
Yeah.
We're trying to decide what to do with gallon measure and how to make that look presentable, not to stick out, but to blend. And in the process, a sign of that nature only facing one direction. And somebody said, well, what does that mean? Life works here.
Your best, yeah.
Well, I know what it means, but it's beside the point. Somebody said, well, what does it mean?
What does it mean? Because maybe you can educate me, because I don't know what it means.
Living in the town of Cortland, life works. It's a nice place
works?
to live. It works. It
Oh.
works for you. It works for the town. The people are happy. We're just joyous that we're in the town of Cortland.
That's a good explanation. I didn't know where it came from. I thought maybe.
I don't know where it came from
It's
either.
their
I don't
line
think it's
that
the
they
best.
Worked on, I believe hired a company. and-
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's the best thing to put on a sign.
Rebranded themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah, but they're rebranding right when the village starts. So, that's my issue. And it's not the town of
what is the
Cortland.
one in Peekskill, Marcus? The beautiful here.
Oh, friendly town.
Friendly town.
Friendly town.
Friendly town.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great slogan too.
Yeah, it's new.
All right, any other comments from the floor? All right, so I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year. And I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.